Hello, everybody. It's Mrs. Pound, and I'm back with another video from Chapter 6.1 on genetics from Purposeful Design Life Science. And the section I want to talk about now is Section 6.1.5 on mitosis and meiosis. So, our objectives are to distinguish between mitosis and meiosis and name and describe the phases of mitosis and meiosis. So before we can talk about mitosis and meiosis, we do have to talk a little bit about the genetic material in the nucleus. And the term we use for that is chromatin. This is the mixture of DNA and protein that makes up a chromosome. So um, the DNA strands are mixed with protein, and the chromosomes are formed when there is cell division that we can see. But generally, it's just kind of this thread-like material, and that is the chromatin. Now, there are also chromatids. This is one of two identical strands of a replicated chromosome. So here in the back, I have the chromosomes that have formed. They have replicated. They're going to undergo some type of cell division. And over here on this side is one chromatid, and on the other side is another chromatid. So if they were not replicated, we would have just one chromatid. But because it's replicated, they're joined in the center by the centromere. This is the point at which sister chromatids are attached to each other. So here in the center, which is kind of hidden under my words, is the centromere where one chromatid is attached to the other, and we call them sisters. Now, the first type of cell division I want to talk about is mitosis, the cell division process in which new somatic cells are formed. What is a somatic cell? A somatic cell is a cell that has the full number of chromosomes for that organism. So most cells in your body are somatic cells, okay, because they contain the full number of chromosomes. And for humans, that is 46. Okay, 23 pairs for a total of 46 chromosomes. Because remember, you get one set of chromosomes from each parent, so they pair up. Now, mitosis forms two daughter cells that are identical to the parent cell. So here are the two daughter cells over here. They haven't completely undergone cytokinesis, which separates them, but these are the two daughter cells. They're identical to the parent cell. So this just copies the cells. In humans, daughter cells have 46 chromosomes. And this happens in 4 stages. The 4 stages are in the middle here. This would be called interphase. This is the phase that the cell is in most of the time. This is prophase, where you have that spindle fibers forming, the chromosomes are visible, they're starting to line up, that nuclear membrane is disappearing. Then we have metaphase, where they line up in the middle, the chromosomes line up in the middle. Anaphase, where the sister chromatids separate and start to go to their respective ends of the cell to form two new cells. Then we have telophase, where they have completely separated, gone to their other ends, starting to form that nuclear membrane again. And then cytokinesis, where it splits. So the 4 stages, though, are actually prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Now, guys, I don't necessarily always have this stuff memorized, so I don't expect you to memorize each of the phases, but it is important to realize that two daughter cells that are identical to the parent are formed with the exact same number of chromosomes, and that it's a single cell division. Now, the other cell division process that can occur is meiosis. This is the cell division process in which new gametes are formed. Now, just a reminder, a gamete is a sex cell. This forms our sperm and egg cells. So one way I remember this is meiosis has an E in it for eggs. Okay, meiosis has an E in it for eggs. Mitosis, I always say, makes my toes. Okay, so the somatic cells in my toes are made from mitosis. Mitosis makes mitoses. Meiosis makes eggs because it has an E in it. So meiosis forms four gametes with half the chromosomes of the original cell. If we take a look at this, this is a chart with meiosis. Notice the phase names are the same, but it goes through not just one cell division, but two cell divisions. That's why there's four gametes made. Okay, that is why there's four gametes made. And in humans, daughter cells have 23 chromosomes. The reason for this is because when egg and sperm then come back together, you have your full 46. If the number wasn't cut in half, it would always double each time that there was sexual reproduction with organisms. And there are 8 stages. As we can see, there's a prophase 1, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase 1, and then there's prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase 2. Now, one thing I want to point out is during the first stage of meiosis here, notice this metaphase is different how they line up. Here, instead of them lining up like mitosis, where they're all lined up in a line and the sister chromatids are separated, here you have the homologous, we call them homologous chromosomes. So the chromosomes that you got from each parent, the ones from the mother, the ones from the father, are lining up in the middle together, and then those chromosomes are separated. Then the second phase is much like mitosis, where you have just them lining up the middle, then the sister chromatids are separated. So that's how you end up with the 4 cells, because you end up with 2 cells here that then split in the second phases of meiosis. So very similar process, just a little bit different. And we're going to talk about how when they line up here in metaphase in class, we're going to do something called crossing over, which increases the variability, because here, they don't line up according mom's on the left, dad's on the right chromosomes. They're all mixed up. And then they do something called crossing over, where they touch and they exchange genetic material. So we're going to demonstrate that with gummy worms in class. So it just a lot of variability there. That's why even in your family, there's so much variety. Everybody looks different. And with meiosis, it's replication followed by reduction. So there are 2 steps, 2 cell divisions, not just one, as we can see that. So replication, division, reduction. So there are some similarities between mitosis and meiosis. One is that they are both ways for cells to divide. They have the same basic stages. They're even named the same things. And interphase is the same. The stage in between is the same. So our objectives today were to distinguish between mitosis and meiosis and name and describe the phases of mitosis and meiosis. So don't forget your 5 questions in your notes and keep watching the video to answer the questions at the end.